It's a warm Sunday morning on the Pan Am Freight Main when we position ourselves in East Deerfield Yard, where we see nothing but idling power and what looks to be part of the Guilford wreck train in the yard. On River Road, we position just east of the Pan Am River line as Amtrak 471 crosses over the Deerfield River and south towards Springfield and later New Haven. In Ayer, we move to CPF AY, where restricting aspect is displayed on track number 2 for CSX train M427, which is bringing down their Ayer cut with the rest of the train tied down at control point 309. As M427 heads into Hill Yard, we reposition across the tracks from the Ayer station, where we see yard job AY1 switching in the yard, here shoving a cut of cars back onto one of the yard tracks. As AY1 shoved into Hill Yard, we see an eastbound MBTA commuter arrive in Ayer, making a station stop before proceeding east towards Boston. Sandy Pond Road, we witnessed the crossing activate and the gates lower to protect traffic from the oncoming commuter arriving in Ayer. After the MBTA westbound, we find CSX M427 rounding the curve. After making their Ayer drop, heading back east to CPF 309 to tie onto the rest of their train and continue south to Worcester. Back at CPF AY, we see an approach aspect on track 2, which a few moments later gives way to a clear indication on track 1, which is for another MBTA westbound coming into their station stop in Ayer. Following the westbound commuter is Norfolk Southern 11R, which is in the process of winding their power before they start building their westbound train. Once 11R cleared CPF AY, the control point was occupied once again by eastbound traffic. This time it's the Lorem Rail Grinder, proceeding out of Ayer Yard and heading east for CPF 312. following the rail grinder is the lorem switch grinder, which follows the rail grinder and grinds switches and crossings, while the main set grinds the right-of-way. Road, we see the two rail grinding sets on their final approach to CPF 112, prepping their equipment before grinding the right-of-way. Once the two sets were east of Wagon Wheel Road, we see three track cars pull onto the tracks, which all will follow the two grinders and put out any brush fires that might develop. Before proceeding east of CPF 312, the two rail grinders would have to wait for CSX M427, with the rest of their train heading onto track 2 before coming to a stop east of CPF WL. As M427 comes to a stop, we would fall behind the two grinders and move to Westford, where we find the RG403. The purpose of the Lorem rail grinders is to maximize the life and value of rail assets, which consists of the removal of fatigued metal, restoration of the railhead profile, and removal of rail defects, which results into less contact between the rail and wheel, leading to faster and safer train operations. On Depot Street, we see RG403 in the distance as they slowly make their way down the straightaway while continuing to grind the right-of-way. After RG403, we see one of 4 track cars follow behind, which gives way to RGS6 as they come down the straightaway and prepare to grind the switch at CP307. Once at a stop, the RGS6 would proceed east and begin to grind the switch at CPF 307, which would see multiple passes to create the right profile while dumping loads of water around the rails. Once done with the CPF 307 switch, the RGS-6 moves east onto the crossing, where the crossing would also receive multiple passes before continuing east towards Lowell. As RGS-6 continues east on the CSX Freight Main, that'll conclude our day in eastern Massachusetts. And as always from the Weathered Rails, thanks for watching.